fun, fun. We will keep going, and we will, again, hope to see some more people join. Thanks for logging in on this Good Friday. Sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a lot good about Good Friday, but we are definitely waiting for Easter. So Mary Jane is watching. Olivia, hey Olivia, glad you're watching. So glad you're here. Welcome to the Midtown Manse. So got set up and got comfy. I should have put on my pajamas since this is a bedtime story. But usually on a Friday night, we'd be hanging out with other people and I wouldn't be home alone. Maybe I'd have a date. Maybe not. What a good time this quarantine is. Hey Audrey, hey Grant, hey Sadie, thanks for tuning in tonight. So glad you could show up. You know, my sister does Facebook Live every single day. She has this really neat Facebook group called The Daily Chapter. And so for the past 2 years, she's been reading a chapter of the Bible every single day. And then she gets on at night and she talks about it kind of as a devotional. And so she's super pro at this. And bless her heart, because she does a really great job giving shout outs. Hey Bill, thanks for logging in. Hey Deanne. Hey Cindy, thanks for logging in. This is certainly something I've not done, is interact with Facebook Live, but yeah. So have you all seen that people are starting to wear masks in public, kind of to keep them safe from this coronavirus and to help keep others safe? Well, I just thought I'd show you the mask that I've picked out, because they say you're supposed to wear a mask, right? Well, I think I've picked out the perfect mask. Do you want to see it? Okay, talk me into it. What do you think? I think if I wear this to the grocery store, I'll be just fine, right? Because nobody wants to get near Chewbacca. Wait, what are you saying? That's not the type of mask we're supposed to wear? I'm not supposed to wear this? Oh, you mean like a medical mask. I see. I don't know. I kind of like my Chewy mask better. It's pretty funny. Hey, Jennifer. Hey Ellie, hey Zeke, hey Zayden, thanks for tuning in tonight. Hey Brenda, if Evan's there, tell him hi. Hello Emily Sightsinger, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, let's get started. This is one of my favorite books. Get a little more comfortable. It's called The Tale of the Three Trees. And it is told by Angela Elwell Hunt. The illustrations are by Tim Jonke. This is published by David C. Cook Publishing. If you ever want to get a copy, that's where you would go. This is called a traditional folk tale or a legend. Do you all know what a legend means? Hey Brittany, thanks for logging in. Hope Brooklyn's watching. Hey Lindsay. Hey girls, glad you're watching. Avery, Ella, Claire, and Lucy, thanks for logging in. Anyway, if you remember from school what a legend or a folk tale means, it's kind of a story passed down from generation to generation. We don't think it's true, but maybe it has some truth to it. So for instance, Paul Bunyan, he's an example of a legend or a tall tale. Jack and the Beanstalk. We don't think Jack and the Beanstalk is real, but it could be. So the Tale of the Three Trees is a legend. It could be true. Maybe not. But there's definitely some truth in it, and it's a really beautiful story. So thanks for logging in tonight. Hey Tiffany. Hey girls, thanks for logging in, Marin and Aria. All right, let's get reading. The Tale of the Three Trees. All right, and I'll try to make sure that you guys can see the pictures. They get a little shiny. Once upon a mountaintop, 3 little trees stood and dreamed of what they wanted to be when they grew up. You can see the 3 trees there. They're beautiful trees. The first little tree looked up at the stars twinkling like diamonds above him. I want to hold treasure, he said. I want to be covered with gold and filled with precious stones. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest in the entire world. Get a little closer. You see that little treasure chest in the sky he's dreaming about? It's beautiful. The second little tree looked out at the small stream trickling by on its way to the ocean. I want to be a strong sailing ship, he said. I want to travel mighty waters and carry powerful kings. I will be the strongest ship in the world. The third tree looked down into the valley below, where busy men and busy women worked in a busy town. I don't want to leave this mountaintop at all, she said. I want to grow so tall that when people stop to look at me, they will raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree in the world. Years passed. The rains came. The sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. One day, 3 woodcutters climbed up the mountain. 1, 2, 3. And there's 3 trees. 1, 2, 3. It's not looking good for the trees. The first woodcutter looked at the first tree and said, "This tree is beautiful. It is perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the first tree fell. "Now I shall be made into a beautiful chest," thought the first tree. "I shall hold wonderful treasure." The second woodcutter looked at the second tree and said, "This tree is strong. It is perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the second tree fell. "Now I shall sail mighty seas," thought the second tree. "I shall be a strong ship for kings." The third tree felt her heart sink when the last woodcutter looked at her way. She stood straight and tall and pointed bravely to heaven. But the woodcutter never even looked at her. "Any kind of tree will do for me," he said. With a swoop of his shining axe, the third tree fell. So sad for her. Let's see what happens to them. The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought him to a carpenter shop. But the busy carpenter was not thinking about treasure chests. Instead, his work-worn hands fashioned the tree into a feed box for animals. The once beautiful tree was not covered with gold or filled with treasure. He was coated with sawdust and filled with hay for hungry farm animals. Let's see some of those pictures. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took him to a shipyard, but no mighty sailing ships were being made that day. Instead, the once strong tree was hammered and sawed into a simple fishing boat. Too small and too weak to sail an ocean or even a river, he was taken to a little lake. Every day he brought in loads of dead, smelly fish. Blah. The third tree was confused when the woodcutter cut her into strong beams and left her in a lumber yard. What happened? The once tall tree wondered. All I ever wanted to do was to stay on the mountaintop and point to God. Many, many days and nights passed. The 3 trees nearly forgot their dreams. But one night, golden starlight poured over the first tree as a young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. "I wish I could make a cradle for him," her husband said. The mother squeezed his hand and smiled as the starlight shone on the smooth and sturdy wood. "This manger is beautiful," she said. And suddenly, the first tree knew he was holding the greatest treasure in the world. One evening, a tired traveler and his friends crowded into the old fishing boat. The traveler fell asleep as the second tree quietly sailed out into the lake. Soon a thundering and thrashing storm arose. The little tree shuddered. He knew he did not have the strength to carry so many passengers safely through the wind and the rain. The tired man awakened. He stood up, stretched out his hand, and said, "Peace." The storm stopped as quickly as it had begun. And suddenly, the second tree knew he was carrying the King of heaven and earth. One Friday morning, kind of like the Friday we are in, the third tree was startled when her beams were yanked from the forgotten wood pile. She flinched as she was carried through an angry, jeering crowd. She shuddered when soldiers nailed a man's hands to her. She felt ugly and harsh and cruel. But on Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath her, the third tree knew that God's love had changed everything. It had made the first tree beautiful. It had made the second tree strong. And every time people thought of the third tree, they would think of God. Can you see there's the manger and the boat and the cross, all standing where they were on the mountaintop, just as they were as trees. That was better than being the tallest tree in the world. Now today is Good Friday, and it's something that we as Christians, those who follow Jesus, we commemorate this day because it's the day when Jesus died. And it was horrible. Jesus was beaten and Jesus hung on the cross. And so we remember this day because it leads to something better. Because Jesus didn't stay dead. And so on Sunday, when we gather around our phones and our computers and our tablets, we're going to celebrate Easter Sunday. Jesus rose from the dead. He didn't stay dead. He defeated death. There's no more death if you believe in Jesus. And I love this book because it reminds me that all of us can be used for Jesus and that good things happen even when we don't expect them. And so on Friday, when Jesus died, his disciples, his friends, they didn't know what was going on. But something better happened than anything they had ever dreamed. And so we can take hope in that too. I hope you enjoyed this story. Again, maybe we can do this again some night. We can have another bedtime story together and we can talk about our favorite books. My sister is watching, so hi Michelle, hi Billy, hi Emily, Ryan and Tanner, if you're tuning in tonight, thanks for logging on. Again, thanks for logging in, and we'll be back together on Sunday morning. So ask your family if you can log in on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. right here we will have Easter worship, and Brother Curtis will be delivering our message. Miss Patsy will be playing some songs, and I'll be doing the children's message again so we can learn more about Jesus and continue to practice our praying, okay? All right, guys, thanks for logging in, and I hope you have a good night and sleep tight, and maybe soon you'll get to have a visit from the Easter Bunny. He is an essential worker. That's what Governor Andy Beshear said. So happy Easter, y'all. Happy Good Friday. Thanks for logging in. Oh, and do you want to see one more helper for tonight's story time? He did absolutely nothing. He wouldn't even come on camera. Isn't that rude? I know, that's Baxter Von Trip Trap. I know. Beatrix is running up and down the stairs. She's being ridiculous. But Baxter's also being worthless. So there's that. So anyway, thank you all. Have a good night. Talk to you later.